God, the creator of the great mystery, exists from nothing to something. Hence it's called the great mystery. But the great mystery lives by the light in our existence, and that light is what we're made of, and it's an ever-present emanating force, and we are slowly but surely waking up to the understanding of what the light is and what we are. We are growing to understand ourselves on higher and higher levels, and the memory that grows everything comes from the seed. So every seed on earth grows according to its memory. It grows what it is, and we grow according to what our memory is. And our memory exists unto itself. In other words, it is aware of its awareness. The human condition is to live above the duality that stops it from growing. And so this is where we are now, learning to live on higher and higher levels of awareness. And these levels are actually reflected in the Mayan calendar, the 9-level Mayan calendar. So this is what I'm sharing in my sharings. The 9-level Mayan calendar can be seen to hold the memory of creation's evolution. Each level has a specific purpose that it has evolved by to create a certain aspect to creation. And the Mayan and Aztec and all the different tribes that lived in Central American region lived by the calendars. The calendars are actually understood to hold a frequency for every day. So the Maya people lit fires each and every day, the Maya daykeepers, to honor the will of creation, the will of God, the will of the creator of time. The will of the creator wants to evolve itself as everything, to transcend all the limitations, continuously doing this, to create a state of oneness where everything that previously opposed each other stops and surrenders and allows everything to live as one and in peace with each other. This is the place that evolution is actually evolving everything to, and it's just a matter of time before we reach these incredible places of bliss where we walk into a new earth that understands how to live in sacred relation with everything in the mirror. And so to understand how to live in our times, we need to go and tune into the frequency that we were conceived by. What was the original idea or the original dream? So the dream of creation is coded by the seed of the creator that began everything from the beginnings, the primordial beginnings, the time of the so-called Big Bang, when the universe began. So the 9 levels actually reflects this process. 16 billion years ago, when the Mayan calendar waves of creation actually started, if you go back to that time, that was roughly around the time of the Big Bang. One might ask, how did the Maya people get this information? They actually tuned into the frequency that aligned to the information, and so it is said that the angels of light supported the Maya people to have these understandings and live by it, and actually create a surrounding that is in right relation to these frequencies. And so they created the calendars to understand the frequencies. And so they held and do still hold this incredible calendric information of the growth of creation from seed to fruit. So every 13 days is a growth, and from seed to fruit, and then also every 260 days is a process of growth, and that 260 days aligns to the gestation of our life when we're in our mother's womb, roughly 9 months. So the gestation of the universe is these 9 levels of the Mayan calendar that reflect time and the growth of time to reach a state of full maturity. And as we're living in these times now, we are reaching that stage of full maturity, and the maturity that understands how to live in harmony with nature. So in a sense, we went through a process in the last few thousand years, humanity, of going and disconnecting from nature, so-called understanding of leaving the Garden of Eden. And now we're at a stage where we're returning to the Garden of Eden, but with a higher level of understanding and creating incredible miracles in terms of everything that has evolved in the last few hundred years, and specifically the advancements in the last few decades. One might ask, how do the Mayan people even know this information? Where do they get it from? As I said, they're tuned into it, but it's also they left a mark of it in their calendars for us now to see in our times now. The ancient Maya people from a few thousand years ago, they left this mark in the inscriptions, in the stela that have the understandings of the calendars imprinted in them. So in terms of understanding time now, as I said, we need to go back to the primordial beginning and understand how humanity lived, how humanity evolved. And this is what we can see the evidence of in scientific research, and the understandings of the tribes and the cultures, the different cultures and how they lived, is very important for us to know, so that we can remember this ancient way of living in right relation. Because we left the Garden of Eden, so to speak, and are returning back to it, we need to learn how to live in right relation with nature through understanding the ancient teachings. One of the big lessons and teachings is the song and dance of the different tribes of the earth. This holds a frequency, specifically the first frequencies of creation that evolved the human mind are seated in the oldest people of earth, scientifically proven to be the Bushmen, the Sand Bushmen, who lived by the trance dances of the Kalahari and the southern African region. So in these trance dances, they would have to connect to the frequency of creation, but in so doing they needed to surrender to all their differences. Like the women may have had differences between them, and they would have to sing and clap and create these high states of transcendence through frequency work, but they had to let go to any quabbles, and that would actually inadvertently create harmony in the community. So that's why they did the dances to nourish the soul. And so as they did this, the men who were dancing around the fire would actually do the transcending, and it is said that they would connect with the spirits, the rain animals, to bring the rain, to the community, and metaphorically to actually bring the rain that actually brings fertility and new growth. And so in the new growth, the old aspects had to be let go of. And so this is what the song and dance was all about, to recall or reclaim the new aspects of the soul and heal the lost soul in terms of anything that may have happened in their daily life. In terms of evolution, we're always reaching higher states of awareness, so we can get lost in the ways that don't serve anymore. So the ways that don't serve anymore are what the mind is gripped by. And so these frequencies, these ancient frequencies, are returning now, and they hold codes, and these codes are creating a new existence for Earth. The diamond light frequency is emanating, and this is what the ninth wave projects and is emanating through each and every one of us to awaken to its message, the message of being in right relation with the frequency of the heart, being true to the heart. So surrendering the mind to the heart. So the frequency of the heart tunes into the frequency of creation's evolution. It is what sparks life to be, sparks humanity to be alive. Each heartbeat has created our every existence from the beginnings of time, and this has been passed down through life, through families, through the unity of the masculine and feminine, creating and procreating. Each person transfers and plants a new seed. So this seed has memory, and memory from the very beginning is actually what everything is completing by. And what holds this memory from the very beginning is the Bushman. It all comes back to the Bushman, the sand, and all the different tribes that were alive from the very beginning. They hold the memory, and that memory at the very beginning was very pure because it hadn't been distorted yet. So it began everything. It began the time before duality distorted everything, but we had to distort everything so we could learn to create Earth as a miracle and advance everything to higher and higher levels of existence. This is what I feel we need to be excited about. There's so much to be excited about. Life is exciting. When you understand things in this way, there's truly so much to live for and be happy about. And the big thing is anything that doesn't make you happy, to really face it and have the courage to do that. It comes back to the dance of the sand. They used to do the lion dance to give them courage to face anything that was a challenge and to process it so that it was burnt away. They would process their things that weren't easy to handle. They would put it into the fire and burn away the ill intentions, the arrows of bad, negative energy. They would burn it away. This is the ancient way that would be good for us in our modern life to understand and live by. Creation exists by the rhythm of the divine, and the rhythm is created by the heartbeat, and so this heartbeat actually creates waves of energy. So Earth has actually got a heartbeat. It's an etheric heartbeat, and it emanates, and everything that it emanates is what it is. So the same with us. Our heartbeat emanates everything and creates everything we are. So anything that we attract is what our heartbeat is creating. And so if we create negativity, it's because we are beating to a negative rhythm. And so all the faults that we see in others are really faults in ourselves. So if things are falling apart, it's because we are creating it to fall apart, but it's falling apart and it's breaking so that we can rebuild. And we can rebuild with the understanding of the ancient way. There's been so much distortion that's happened through all sorts of things that are attaching us to physical outcomes, things that the physical dimension wants us to do and to live by, which are not really what we want to live by. And so this is where we are now, is at the place of making the choice whether to surrender to something that is going to help you or not. You know, this is really the choice. And the place that you can get your answer is to look within yourself, connect your mind with your heart, and live true to that understanding. And if you don't understand fully, this is the place where we have to let go, control, and trust that everything will unfold the way it's meant to be. Ultimately, the Creator is in control, and I'm just intuitively connecting to my light, to my understanding that I've been processing for the last many years. It's actually raining now. I'm in the Southern Cape in South Africa. The rain is now pouring down. It's the middle of the day, and lots of rain is coming. That's going to bring new growth, fertility. So in the water is also memory. So everything exists with memory, and the water has life. Water is life. And the union of the water with the seed sparks the growth of the seed, so it brings fertility and growth. Understanding on these higher levels is very important for you if you are feeling a bit lost in your life. It can really give you a new sense of direction. I strongly recommend that if you are feeling lost and you don't know what life is about, that this information be grasped and understand it. But don't let anybody tell you what it is. Read it, absorb it, learn it for yourself. And it might not be for you, it might be for you, but it is definitely worth considering. The more you learn, the more you understand, and going to the ancient teachings is where it all starts. In actual fact, the mind calendar works with the medicine wheel, the directions. Each day is a different direction. So when you walk the medicine wheel, and in terms of walking the medicine wheel, you're processing all things that are out of right relation to yourself. All things are being brought into sacred relation by walking the medicine wheel. So each direction holds a specific aspect to creation. It's an archetypal force that can help you and help heal you. If you walk the medicine wheel with people that know how to share it and teach it and heal in relation to it, it's very powerful medicine. So it all goes back to the beginnings. The medicine wheel has been walked by the native peoples, Native American Indian people, for a long time. Where all the information came through and how it all came through, we have certain understandings just through listening to the different people who understand where the forefathers found the information. And also there is some scientific evidence. So there's many rituals and ways of living in ancient times that are now surfacing so that we can birth in truth to the original seed, the code of the original seed that holds the diamond-like frequency. This code holds an agreement for us to surrender to, that we may not understand it fully consciously, so we just surrender to it, to the subconscious understandings where we don't really need to understand it. It's all being understood, and everything is working out for us in a great way. in terms of things working out in a great way, and for us to be in alignment with this, it's about surrendering and allowing. It's important to be conscious of how to be in alignment with the frequencies of creation. Understanding is like a key, the key that unlocks the door to the future, so that we can walk through the door that enters into new earth and create heaven on earth. What we are being gifted is this diamond light frequency. It's a frequency that works in truth to the heart. So even if you're not following the mind calendar or any energies or anything, and some people are not even aware of this information I'm sharing, the most important thing is just to be true to yourself, to walk true to the heart, and align this truth with the will of creation, the truth that creation exists by. And that is really to understand that creation is in control, and all the things that we've controlled that have taken things away from creation and being in harmony with creation, we need to observe what that is within ourselves and do our best to change in this way. So as I said, understanding is key. So how did the diamond light frequency come about? What is it resulted from? It's resulted from the evolution of consciousness, the evolution of creation, from the original intentions of the dream to create oneness. It symbolizes unity and oneness, the diamond light frequency. It's transparent, it's true, it's flawless. What this flawless frequency asks is that we live with pure intentions. Intentions that are selfless, intentions that trust, intentions that don't need to control the outer, that just works on yourself for the outer to change. Be an example of the light. Surrender the grip of your mind, the imprints of duality that have dogged us. Let go of all these dogmatic views. Dogma actually is like an unquestioned belief. So we need to understand what we're being seeded with. What is the mainstream trying to tell us and do? There's so much manipulation. The manipulation is there because of an immaturity to understand how to be in balance. How to be in balance with nature and the will of the creative forces of time. So a diamond is created from coal, and it takes the longest to create the diamond, and it's over time it's compressed and compressed and condensed within the coal, and a crystal appears, and that crystal is the diamond crystal. It's flawless. So evolution created this diamond, and where we are now, the top of the pyramid, actually represents the diamond. So each level of each of the 9 levels condense or gets smaller by 20 times. So the energy condenses itself, and that condensation is actually forming the diamond light frequency. 16.4 billion years ago, to be exact, is when the Mayan calendar, the 9 levels of the Mayan calendar started. And then the second level was created within the the first level. And so each level is created within itself. The third level was created within the first and second level. The fourth level was created within the first, second, third level, and so on. And each level, as I said, gets 20 times smaller. So it was around 800 million, I think it is, for the second level. And then, excuse me for not remembering perfectly. I'm just intuitively aligning to what I remember. Then the third level was 40 million. This is all just roughly. The fourth level was 2 million. And so in each of these levels, something was sparked. And in the fourth level, 2 million years ago, what was sparked was the evolution of the mind, the evolution of our mind in humanity. And if you look at studies, what happened roughly 2.5 or 2.7 million years ago is when humankind started its evolution. And ultimately, the third level was when apparently the monkey started its evolution. So what happened between the third and fourth levels was really the missing link between monkey and human. And so the understanding is that the monkey dropped its tail and started the evolution of its mind. In the fifth level is roughly 100,000 years, was really a big opening of consciousness. This opened up near the end of the fourth level, which evolved the mind to a certain state for the fifth level to be initiated. It was actually the time of a clear and transparent world where there were no filters. Was the fifth level. And so that 100,000 year period, if you look at history and all the things that have happened in the last 100,000 years, great advancements have happened. And there's a lot of misunderstandings about those times that we're remembering now and becoming more aware of how we lived. In the next level, the sixth level, that was the beginning of the great cycle, the long count, roughly 5,125 years ago. So at this stage was the beginnings of the understanding of straight lines, and architecture changed. This is also all taken from, I must just mention, the work of Dr. Kellerman. His sharing in terms of the Mayan calendar and how the time that the Mayan calendar existed, how you overlay it over scientific evidence of all the different things that happened. There's actually a sequence. Everything is actually evolving to a schedule. And the schedule is the plan of the divine to, as I've said already, create a world of light, create a world of peace and happiness and joy by understanding how to live sustainably in tune with the nature and the frequencies of creation. So from the fifth level to the sixth level, there was a great shift of consciousness where the polarity and duality changed. The duality that we were living in the fifth level was open and clear, and then as we went into the sixth level, there was a shift on the mind. This is all part of the processes of evolution, and the shift was really duality, and it was more of a Western hemisphere rational mind that came in, and this shifted perception to right and wrong. And this was roughly 3,100 and something BC when this happened. This is the time when it can be seen that we exited the Garden of Eden. So this was when we left a more harmonious time and went into a more conflict-driven time. And it was all the process of evolution, and this is what the 9-level Mayan calendar reflects. So in the next level, from the 6th to 7th, This time was in 1755, so the 7th level is roughly 255 years long, and it was in roughly 1755. And what happened then, there was a great shift of consciousness that sparked the Industrial Revolution. And then from the 7th to the 8th level, we went into another shift. The 7th level really was the time of the blindfolded consciousness, where our mind was blinded to certain things. And part of the understanding of this was really that creation to actually evolve itself higher needed to blind itself to certain things for the mind to cope. So the awakening is to what we were blinded to. It's quite interesting, this understanding of looking at things. It's a very good understanding to bring you into some sort of resonance with purpose. The next level from the 7th to the 8th, as I was saying, is a shift again to the irrational, the surrendering, the more of an Eastern Hemisphere mind that lives more intuitively. And it was actually in 1999 that the 8th level started, and was only 12.8 years long. So from the energies being condensed, and as it's being condensed, it's forming this diamond-like frequency. And so from 1999, when this energy came in, it was actually centered more on in the feminine role. It was an opening and an awakening of the divine feminine energies. The 6th level was really the masculine energies that came in and took over. Man, it was the mind. Whereas the 8th level is more of the heart. So now the heart is coming in and trying to overturn the, I would say, destructive mind. This is so the feminine is coming in, the return of the feminine. And in 2011, in March 2011, was when the 9th wave started, the 9th level. On the 9th of March 2011, the 9th level started, and it was 20 times smaller. So from 12.8 years for the 8th level, it was condensed to the 9th level being only 234 days long. And this process condensed time to form the diamond-like frequency, the etheric diamond-like consciousness for humanity, which as it ebbs and flows from that date is bringing things more and more to returning to being in right relation with nature, and for our consciousness to understand what it needs, how it needs to live in order to be one with nature and return to the Garden of Eden. So in 2011, in October 2011, the 28th of October 2011, was when the Mayan calendar completed, the 9-level Mayan calendar completed, the 9th level completed. It was 234 days long. So this was a process of 13 divisions of 18 days, where everything was condensed, and it continued. So 18-day waves continue, and each 18 days is really ebb and flow into a valley and into a peak, into a valley and into a peak of the 9th wave. All the 9 levels completed at the exact moment, same moment in time, on the 28th of October 2011 to 13 Ahahu light. And the inscription says that this is the date when the 9 cosmic forces will live in full maturity to themselves and descend upon earth and emanate from within everything on earth, and emanate from within the mind of humanity. So it's quite a detailed understanding, but this is just the surface of it. There's so much more to explain and share. What is interesting to understand is that the 234 days, the ninth wave, the ninth level, is a short cycle, and it's shorter than the 260 days. This is why it's important, in my view, to understand what this means. It ultimately means that it transcends the Tzolk'in. It doesn't mean that we don't work with the Tzolk'in. It just means that the ninth wave is living higher than the Tzolk'in. For the first time, the waves of energy are actually living above the duality of the Tzolk'in and the duality of life. And so that's also what's creating the diamond, is the fact that the 234 days doesn't, the 260 days doesn't fit inside the 234 days. So it means that it's creating a diamond. The energies are being transcended. That's how the diamond, it's creating an etheric diamond, the diamond light of the Creator, of God's will. And to live by this is what the Creator is planning for the human mind to do. And so, just to complete now, in terms of the Tzolk'in and how the ninth wave, the ebbing and flowing of 18 days, it's actually 36 days of up and down, but each 18 days is an ebb and a flow, and how that works, and how it actually aligns to the Tzolk'in. Especially for those who follow the Tzolk'in, it's important, in my view, to understand this. Like every beginning of an 18 days is either a east or a west direction, so that's like a duality, and in the middle of each of the 18 days is another duality or polarity. It's a north or south direction. Now, in a few days' time, today's the 23rd of July 2019, we're actually completing the 85th night of the ninth wave, an 18-day cycle, and the next 18-day cycle starts on the 25th of July. Interestingly enough, it aligns with a very important date on the Mayan calendar, and for the Mayan people, it's the days out of time. So, as we go into the 86th day, it's an 18 days of light. Normally the light periods are more intense than the dark periods, but it's all relative to where it also fits on the Tzolk'in and how things are according to the consciousness of Earth. I'm now going to complete talking on this little sharing, allow you to absorb what you need to absorb, and thank you very much for listening. I will now say goodbye. There's probably so many more things I could be talking about that I'll just leave it at that for now. Thank you. Have a great day. This is Sean Caulfield, and you can go to my website. That's theuniversalfrequency.com for more. Welcome to contact me. Have a great day.